Check. I just wanna thank me for doing it when nobody made me, for doing it while nobody pays me. They can call it crazy, but they don't see it daily. And I've been finding ways, don't give a damn if you hating. And secretly waiting to see what I do next. It feels like a huge flex. I reach in my tool chest, never feel too pressed or depressed. Please miss me with any and all negative energy. Ooh.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-topic. Today, I'm with my co-host and co-owner, Carlos Mojica, Cam Theory, and
we got Amin Bahri here from Elite Suites.
Oh, yeah.
Co-owner, and then unfortunately your brother couldn't be here today, but you and your brother co-own that. But appreciate you for coming, taking time out your day. I know y'all are busy. You know, we just talked off camera how busy y'all been, so appreciate you for coming through. It means a lot.
Definitely.
First things first, just kind of give us a background story about where y'all came from, what y'all do now.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Amin Bahri. I'm from Pflugerville, Texas, like you guys. We grew up, went to the same high school, and so my path, you know, it really was an untraditional path. So I went to the University of Texas after school. And it was really during my time there that, you know, I came up with the idea from Elite Suites. I guess really kind of backtrack. My story really begins back in high school, actually. So I don't know if you guys know my whole journey, but I went on a weight loss journey myself and my twin brother, and I actually lost 140 pounds. My brother lost 100 pounds. And that's really kind of where our passion for health and fitness began. And it was actually years later when I was a student at the University of Texas. I was working with the football team, like I mentioned. And we were always surrounded by the high protein cookies, brownie shakes, all those kinds of things. And, you know, we'd eat that stuff all day long. But at night, you know, we were on a college budget. We always found ourselves at the local donut shop, kind of late night munchies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, one fateful day, we just kind of thought to ourselves, what if there was a better for you option for these donuts, or a protein packed, low sugar version of the donut, something that could be part of an athlete's meal plan. And that's really how we got started, man. We got to work in our apartment kitchen, and that's kind of what drove our inspiration for Elite Suites and kind of our passion for health and fitness.
Did y'all play sports in high school?
Yeah, I played football.
Football, both of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So when you went to UT, what'd you exactly go for?
So I wanted to do business. So business was always my kind of what I wanted to do first. Mm-hmm. But I actually the business school at UT is a tough thing to get into. So it was one of those things where ultimately I kind of settled in a sports management degree and got a certificate in business, so I could still kind of have a little bit of, you know, take some of the business classes. And so that's what ultimately led me to working with the football team, was the fact that I wanted to balance the two things I loved, which was sports and business. And, you know, that's kind of how it all came together.
What'd you do with the football team?
So I was a student manager. So basically I worked, I guess, like an equipment manager, if you will. So I got, you know, the players game day ready during practice. I worked with the defensive line, so kind of running them through the drills, assisting the coaches. And then on game days, I was the guy who held the play cards and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. You know, so you were really kind of like a GA almost?
Yeah, kind of, except I didn't call the plays or do specific coaching. I just ran them through the drills.
Yeah.
The coach would, you know, tell me what drill to set up, get the drill set up, and then I'd be the one holding the pads and run them through.
Yeah. So I guess with that, did you have to do because I know I have some friends because I played football too, and I had some friends that the traditional coaching route, you gotta become a GA and do all that stuff. So did you have to draw the scout cards and do laundry, and did you have to do all that stuff too? Or not really?
That's not necessarily what I did. I just did more so on the equipment side of things, so just making sure the players had the right equipment. Laundry, I didn't necessarily do that. That's something we had. At UT, we're well funded.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, there's 16 student managers, what I was doing when I was a student. Then there's obviously the assistant, the head, and kind of another guy. So I mean, our equipment staff's 20, 25 people deep. So it's not you know, I have to do every little thing. But yeah, my whole role was more so just kind of, you know, making sure everyone had everything they needed for practice, game days, and just helping the coaches out. You know, with just assisting them through drills and things like that. So it was a cool opportunity, you know, without being an athlete. It was an opportunity to get paid, travel with the team, and kind of just experience that same lifestyle. So, it was a really cool experience for me. And, you know, when I was doing that, I thought coaching was what I wanted to do, man. I was like, oh, this seems like a great opportunity. But, you know, during my time there was a lot of turnover. We had a lot of different coaches come through UT, and then that's when it really hit me. You know, it's not a stable career path. It's not something that, you know, you could be a coach at UT one day and then, you know, 2 years later you find yourself looking for a job. And, you know, there's a lot of volatility in coaching. You know, you're always moving around.
Yep.
And,
especially at the college level.
Yeah, exactly. And it just takes so long to get to the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those career paths where it's real linear in the sense that you're not going to be like the main guy until you're 50 or 60 or whatever, unless you're the kind of like, you know, Cliff Kingsbury. So
you're like, you got to be like a guru, and you got to kind of be, if you get like brought in under a tree, like the coaching trees, like the Shanahans, the McVays, like.
Yeah, you got to be a product.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was just one of those things where I realized quickly, I was like, you know, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to wait until I'm 50 to kind of touch real money. I don't want to have to struggle coaching. I don't want to be bouncing around doing this, going here, going there. And I wanted some stability. And obviously, I always knew in my blood, you know, I was an entrepreneur and I wanted to start my own business. You never really know what you want to do. And, you know, for me, the idea just kind of sparked and we just ran with it and never looked back.
So those late nights, did y'all just look up recipes and how to make like healthier stuff, or is it just something that since y'all are around it all the time, you already kind of had a hint of what to do?
Yeah. So we had no culinary background, no, you know, food, science knowledge or any of that kind of stuff. It was really just, we had a like general background in nutrition, kind of knew what, high level, what macros we wanted to hit from like a protein standpoint, calories, carbs, things like that. But no, we didn't have any of that kind of background. We were just kind of looking up recipes, looking at what was trending, what kind of ingredients, what people are looking for in products. And yeah, for us, we just kind of at our core, we knew what we wanted to be. So that's kind of where we started, is defining what our core product was going to be. And it was going to be high protein, low sugar, low carb and keto, gluten-free, soy-free. And then you kind of just work backwards from there. And then you start sourcing ingredients, and we looked up recipes, and, you know, our product wasn't that great when we started. We knew that, but at the end of the day, you start somewhere, and it's, you know, it's evolutions. Like the product you guys tried before the podcast, I mean, that's probably like the 10th version at least. You know, 10th version to the public eye, probably, you know, 1,000th to us privately. So, you know, you just continue to grow and evolve, and I think that's the most important thing, is just sticking with it and knowing that your product, your service, whatever, is going to continue to get better and better over time.
The products y'all made in y'all's apartment, did y'all like give them to players to like see what they thought about it as well?
Yeah. When we first started, that's all you can do, man. When you're bootstrapping and you're hustling, all you can do is just get it out there, and that's what we did. You know, players, we went out to like the UT Rec Center and just used to put up a table and just try and sell what we could sell. We went to every gym, reached out to every trainer on Instagram in the Austin area, and just went out and just really hit it hard, man. Just kind of getting the brand out there, getting feedback, and, you know, just really understanding if there was a market for the product, if people really liked it. And ultimately, the answer was yes. We knew that there was potential here. We knew that there was, you know, we've seen other categories be kind of have been innovated, whether it be like Halo Top and ice cream, or Lenny and Larry's the cookie. There's like Smart Sweets and candy. There's all these different categories that had been innovated and there was a better for you version. And so, you know, when you look at the donut space, it's a large category, huge market opportunity, and we thought, why not a donut? And we thought, why not us? We figured if it wasn't going to be us, someone else was going to capitalize on it. So, you know, we just never looked back.
And a donut's one of those things you can literally eat any time of the day.
Anytime.
Late night snack.
Exactly.
Morning with the coffee.
They're not super messy too. Like you
right
can
after the gym.
That's how we brand ourselves too, is the anytime donut. So just like you guys said, you know, in the morning, late night snack, or, you know, after the gym.
How'd y'all come up with the name?
So I had a feeling this question would be brought up with Elite Sweets, man. So to be honest with you, it was kind of one of those things where we were just literally sitting in the apartment, kind of brainstorming. Obviously, we knew it needed to have a name, and we were trying to come up with a bunch of different concepts, and nothing really stuck. And then, you know, the word elite came up, Elite Sweets, and it really just made a lot of sense, because we were all surrounded by elite athletes. We wanted to be like an elite brand, when, you know, everything that we wanted to do was in the context of better for you. And that's really where it came from. It just kind of spurred from just the root of the word elite, and we just knew it was like a premium product, going to be a better for you product, and it just all came together. And in terms of Elite Sweets, that's the brand name. The product's the Elite Donut. So we wanted to create a brand where we could launch other products under the name, just starting with Elite Donut as kind of our first product to market.
The things that we tried, are those considered donuts as well?
Yeah. Everything to date is the Elite Donut. That's just the new formulation and the new flavor. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, obviously, we know how expensive it is to start something.
Oh yeah,
off a rip like that.
Yeah.
Is your brother in college at this point too? Is he?
Yeah. We're
both at UT. Mm-hmm. So paying for college, going to college, working with the football team. Mm-hmm. Where did y'all get y'all's time and money to like even come up with this whole thing?
Yeah. So when we first started, everything was bootstrap. The one thing about me though is I've always worked. Like that's something that's always been part of me. I've always been grinding, working, and like when you say work with the football team, like I was getting paid. You know what I mean? Like I was actively working a job. I was doing that. I mean, you guys know during football season that's full time, and I was interning with them while I was working full time, and so that's how we kind of got by, paid rent, things like that. In terms of the product, man, we were bootstrapping. Like whatever we had to do, just order like small batch of everything. Just get at one point we were taking protein from like the weight room, like the UT football weight room, just to start making donuts, and that's how we got started, literally with their protein, just because it was free. And when we started the business, we bootstrapped. We didn't really have any money. We just kind of found we were just really resourceful, just trying to find any ways to get capital. That we took advantage of like entrepreneurship programs at UT where you get like $1,000 here, $1,000 there. And just kept it going and going. We started selling online just to get a little bit of revenue in, and ultimately what kind of really took us to the next level was we were doing pitch competitions. Like we did a lot of pitch competitions to get the business out there. And I don't know if you guys have heard of a company called WeWork.
Yeah, WeWork. Yeah, there's one right there. Yeah,
exactly. They grew really fast. So at the time when we were talking to them, they were the #1 largest privately held company in the U.S. And so they were hosting a pitch competition. And long story short, we were fortunate enough to compete in it and win the competition. And we got $180,000 to
That's dope.
Yeah, to start the business.
Hell yeah.
So is it kind of like a lower level of Shark Tank?
So that was the idea of it. Actually, I did like a regional round. After that, they did a global round, and there's people like Gary Vee, who's the judge for like the final one. That would have been dope, but I didn't get to compete in that one. But I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary of WeWork and Adam Newman, who's the CEO.
No, I haven't.
They made like a bunch of documentaries and movies and stuff about him, so it's kind of he's kind of notorious for that, I guess. Mm-hmm. But he was the CEO at the time. That was kind of like I think his vision. Obviously, his core business was like the co-working space and office space, but he started doing like a bunch of different other businesses and ventures really under WeWork, and that was kind of one of them was the pitch competition. And it was actually crazy because after that, it was like a month later on National Donut Day, actually, he called us one day, and it was like really like movie-esque. It was crazy. He was just at the end of a round table, and basically he was like, he comes in, his employees are just sitting there waiting for him to come in. He comes, sits in, he talks to us for a minute. He's like, I like what you guys are doing. He's like, I'm going to double your funding, and just walk straight out. And it was just like that, just a quick 1 minute
Sheesh.
call. Yeah, so.
Where were y'all at this point in time? Were y'all still in college or no?
It was right after college. It was literally just probably 3 to 4 months after college, something like that. So we were out of WeWork taking the meeting with him, and he doubled our funding. So we started with $360K, and so we were fortunate to get that kind of capital to get started. But at the end of the day, we worked hard to that point. We put ourselves in the position to have that to take advantage of the opportunity, and that's how we started the business.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's super crazy. I mean, shout out to him.
Right.
Yeah, for just. That's crazy. Are y'all still like in touch and stuff, or does he like keep up with what y'all do now?
So I don't want to get into all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's fine.
No, but it's one of those things. If you watch the documentary, basically he got kicked out of WeWork.
Okay.
It was because he was, I guess spending money unnecessarily or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like, just allocating funds. Like
Gotcha.
his business was not to invest in companies and do all
Gotcha,
that stuff.
gotcha.
I think he had like a $60 million jet, things like
Oh,
that, just
okay.
to fly to meetings. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just to
yeah,
be
yeah.
on time to meetings. And so it was one of those things where he got X'd out, but I appreciate him to this day. I think You know, it goes to show different perspectives about people.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how people know him. I know.
But you know him a certain way, yeah.
He helped start my life. So
yeah,
it's like you also don't know where you would be if that never, because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's what we thought then, and then it's like where we're at now. We're like, fuck, man, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what you know. At the end of the day, that was what got us started, and then it was a ton of money to us. It was just like it was life changing, and that's why we were able to kind of take it to the next level. So, you know, we were obviously very lucky, but you know, it was just us capitalizing on the opportunity and timing of everything, and you know, the story of how we got there is even crazier, but. Ultimately, that's how we. That's how we did it.
How old were y'all when y'all got that money?
I just graduated college, 22.
See, and that's another thing. Like having that, obviously, like you have a certain mindset to be an entrepreneur, and we all kind of know like what it takes. But to get that kind of money up front, like at that age, it's like, you know, like you could do something else or whatever. You know, like to actually know like we're getting all this money, but we got to invest probably most, if not all of it, into what we want to really do
100%.
To, you know, make more obviously in the future. But, you know, someone's not going to think like that when they get that kind of money up front or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear that. Everyone around me was saying the same thing. Like, what if you quit? What can you do with the money? This, that, the other. And it's like, that was never my mentality, man.
Yeah.
I've always had like a long-term mindset. And I knew like 360K is cute, but, you know, if I do everything the right way in 5 to 10 years, you know, it's unlimited, the potential.
Yeah.
360 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just like, I never looked at it and like, oh, what could I do with this money? I was just like, this is a great start. Now where can we take it? Like how far can we take this 360K? And that's kind of been our mindset, you know, propelling us forward. We didn't take a salary then. We weren't making any money, you know. It was years before we took $1. You know, I was living at home with my parents and just doing what we had to do to grind.
So it's been for us too.
Yeah.
So it's like we're doing two different things, but it's the same situation.
It's what it takes, man. You just got to grind and start from the bottom. And that's it.
On the last podcast we had with another guest, I always bring it up just because, I mean, people just truly don't understand like how much it takes money-wise it takes to do this, and let alone time out of your days to do this.
100%.
So it's not easy. And then especially for y'all, if y'all trying to like do something massive, I could only imagine like the marketing money for y'all.
Oh yeah, dude.
From like you only have 360,000, but it's like literally 200K could go to marketing.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into it, but I mean, to date we've raised 2.5 million. We're raising 3 million actively right now, and I mean that's literally just pennies compared to like where we need to be. And we know that, but obviously it's in stages. You know, you can't get everything you want now. Nothing's ever that easy, and so you know, it's just part of the process, man.
When was it when y'all like realized y'all had something different?
Man, we always thought since day one, even when the product sucked, man, even when there wasn't a brand, even when there wasn't anything, we always knew like this was it. Like we saw the opportunity, we understood the market, we figured why not us, you know what I mean? Like I think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people think there's got to be, you have to have a certain amount of money to get started, or you know you have to wait for a certain period of time or till you're comfortable. It's like that shit's not real, man. That's just an excuse that's delaying you. It's like we just fucking went head first.
You have to. There's never a right time to start anything.
There's never. It's like everyone says, oh, later when I have X amount of money. You'll never have enough money. You'll never have enough time. It's just like you want it or you don't. It's you know, it's that real. And so since day one, man, we were always confident. We always had the mindset like this has potential. It's not there today, but it will be at some point if we just stick with it, continue to improve, and that's just been our mindset since day one.
Have y'all, I guess, kind of stopped production? Because I was on y'all's website, say about a week ago, maybe, me and my mom, because I was telling my mom about y'all, and then she was wanting to try some and whatnot, but you couldn't buy anything, so I don't know if y'all are.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a transition right now because, like I said, the original product that we had was actually a frozen product, and the product you guys actually just tried, we're launching that next
shelf
month.
Product.
November 2022, so I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we're going to be launching a shelf-stable product. So the whole point of the reformulation for us was in order to get shelf space in retail. So we've been an online business to date. We've been on Amazon. We became the #1 selling donut on Amazon. We had great traction online, but now it's time to translate it to retail. So, we're working with retailers like GNC's, vitamin shops, H-E-B, Kroger, Wegman, and 7-Eleven.
Yeah, 7-Eleven. Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity for us, and in order to take that next step, we needed to have a shelf life, so that way we could get distribution. Because your Gold's Gym and GNC don't have freezers. That wasn't viable for our product, and so it's just been continuing to take that feedback and iterate and make the product better and better. And that's been the focus. But to answer your question, we're in the middle of a transition, so
Gotcha.
discontinuing that product to prepare for the launch. And in conjunction with just launching a new product, man, from an operational standpoint, we got a new manufacturing facility. We got a new fulfillment center. We built that out of state, it's like 10, 11 times the size of our previous facility. So really just accommodating the growth that we're going to have over the next few years and prepping for that.
Why? Because we try to make this happen sooner, but y'all had a lot of business to go in Colorado for production stuff.
Yeah.
Why'd y'all choose Colorado?
Man, it was just one of those things where, life takes its own turn and you kind of just go with it. But our product developer that we contracted at the time, he lived there. It sounds crazy, but ultimately, the facility that we found, because you have to find the most important thing is finding the right partners to work with. And it's crazy because when I was going through a list, it's called co-manufacturers, the partners that you work with that make the product. I went through an entire list, man, and everyone told us no. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's so real. And the last person we're working with, so the facility we used to work with, they started with the Y. So it was an alphabetical order list. So I'm telling you, the last fucking person on the list, called them, and they were actually interested. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's crazy. I almost gave up because I was like, no one on here, accepted us. And it was like the last person called them. He was interested. We went to went to visit it. It worked out. And our product developer, he lived like 30 minutes up the road, and so it just all came together. So before we were flying him back and forth to Austin, we were using a smaller facility. That shit wasn't working, and so it just all came together. And it was like, you were in Colorado, man. I love that place. It's now my second home, man. I love it. I love it. But we just fell in love with it. But ultimately, that's just where everything worked out. I think Colorado, especially Denver, is really a mecca for food, like Austin is. But Colorado is one of those places, or Denver is one of those places as well, and so just all worked out that way, man.
I mean, sometimes it is like that. It just happens to be like that.
Yeah. So.
Everything happens for a reason. If it's the right place and it's the right place, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
So what was it like getting into athlete's hands? Because one athlete that stuck out to me was Henry Cejudo. What did y'all just send donuts out to athletes, or did y'all go post up somewhere and have a pop-up shop type thing, or how did y'all go about that? Besides Texas football, obviously.
Yeah. So when we first started, we were just kind of getting feedback initially with some of the players, because players are really picky. It's like they either won't eat it or they love it, or they love something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you right away. So they're just kind of quick feedback.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we got started with them. But in terms of influencers and people like Henry Cejudo, I'm a huge UFC fan. That's my favorite sport, and we were working on a partnership with the UFC. I don't know if you're familiar with the Schmo. He's one of the reporters for the UFC.
Who?
The Schmo.
Yeah.
So he's one of the reporters, and so our goal was, if we're going to partner with the UFC, we wanted to build a community within the UFC. So we were trying to partner with, affiliate media people, and so the Schmo, he interviews all the athletes and stuff like that, and he does his own. He has several different shows and podcasts, and one of them was with Henry Cejudo. And so when we were talking with him, he was like, basically, you guys can sponsor this episode with us and Henry. With me and Henry, and we're like, yeah, definitely, we'll do that. And then we sponsored another episode where he interviewed Sean O'Malley. So we just wanted to really get that exposure.
Yeah, that's good.
The bigger names. So that's kind of how it works, man. It's just all outreach, man. It's just whatever you want in this world, you just got to go get it. And so we love the UFC. We knew, he had brand affinity within real hardcore MMA fans, and so it's like, if you want to target that audience, it's getting really niche and just finding the right people to talk about the product. And so that's kind of how that all came together.
It's off topic, but how do you feel about Sean O'Malley?
Dude, I think what he's doing is great, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think every sport has their own stars, and he's just one of those rising stars that just paving his own path, right? He's not doing the Conor McGregor thing. He's just making a name for himself. And, you know, I respect anyone who's who's doing more to build themselves up, because at the end of the day, it's your job to build yourself up. Like, yeah, he understands he has a great platform at the UFC, and so he's just capitalizing on that opportunity. And, you know, you're a businessman at the end of the day. You're all all the UFC fighters are independent contractors. The UFC owes you nothing, so it's your job to capitalize on it and sell your fights, because, you know, that's money in your pocket.
Yeah,
so I think he's doing a great job.
Some of them have like 3-fight contracts.
Yeah.
I think the most is like 6-fight contract.
Yeah.
Maybe the bigger names have like a 10, because I think Anderson Silva at one point had like a 10-fight contract.
Yeah, you gotta lock him in.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to sell yourself. That's why what's his name?
Hamza.
No, the one that the Donald Trump supporter guy. Kobe Covington. Yeah. He just turned bad boy like that because UFC wasn't gonna. They weren't gonna redo his contract, and then he became the bad boy, and then they re-signed him, and now everybody loves him. Yeah.
Credit to him, man. Like, you know, he's not my favorite fighter, but I respect what he's doing, because at the end of the day, you know, it's his family that needs to be fed, right? So he's doing what he's got to do. And,
Who is your favorite fighter?
Oh man, I'm torn. There's a lot of guys I like. I like a lot of the upcoming guys. I like Usman Adesanya. I like Kevin Holland, man. He's just he's funny. Hamzat's cool. Bo Nickel, I think, is going to be a problem coming up. He's
nice.
Yeah, he's a star.
He's nice.
Man, I like it. For me, it's a weight class thing. I like so many different fighters.
Yeah.
So I can't say I have one, but I just love good fights, man.
But we were talking about Henry Cejudo and like getting product into influencers and athletes' hands. I actually saw that you guys, or Noel, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Like Noelle?
Yeah, Noelle. Because I met Bradley Martin a long time ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. He's one of my favorite influencers just because from a fitness standpoint, he's like a really genuine guy. Like, in my opinion, he has the best podcast out, Raw Talk. And like, I saw that because he brought her on, he like blew her up, but I saw that she was eating one of your donuts, and I sent it to Carl. I was like, bro, that's crazy. So how did you, like, is that like your first fitness person, or is it y'all have like a lot of fitness people?
Yeah, so so the point of the whole influencers, obviously, you know, traditional media has changed over time, and now it's really a lot of social media based. Obviously, you see what these social media influencers have done to all industries and how they're really changing the game for everybody. But that was one thing we were always hip to early, is like, you know, partnering with the right people, and, you know, to that point, like, she's in the fitness space, they're in the fitness space, and so it was kind of finding our communities, and that was part of it. It's kind of like the bodybuilding community, MMA people. Like, the thing about combat sports that's unlike any other sports is there's weight classes, and then what comes with that is strict dieting and really, really making sure that you're on top of your nutrition, macros, things like that. And so that's why there was like this unique combination with these different categories. But we just kind of reached out to, it was actually her boyfriend, Isaiah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think we just reached out to him because, to your point, you know, we love Bradley Martin and all of them too, but they're harder to get to. They're more expensive. It's like, you always got to find, like, you know, your way in. And for us, it was like, all right, well, let's build a relationship with Isaiah. You know, I've met with the Nelk boys, I've had dinner with them, and, you know, trying to partner with them in as many as many ways as possible. Yeah. And, you know, we're all one connection away from the Bradley Martins of the world, and it's just trying to bridge that gap. And so that was you know, part of our thing. Obviously, he has a great community. Yeah. But it's just building, you know, a community with him, because you see Isaiah have it, Noelle have it, and then next thing you know, Bradley Martin has it, Zoo Culture. Yeah. And then it becomes, you know, it really builds that brand awareness. So that was kind of our approach with all of that. But yeah, they're really cool to work with, and just kind of reaching out to them, and they're trying to build their, you know, presence and their brand partnerships. Yeah.
You know, exactly. Yeah. So she blew up overnight. Like she was just a regular person, and now she's over 600K.
We're all regular people, man, and she's taking that next step. Yeah. You know, she capitalized on her opportunity. So.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
One of the things I always tell myself is like, what makes us different from
everyone was born the same.
Like what makes us, because I'm a gamer, so I watch a lot of Twitch. I'm just like, what makes me different from whoever else is on Twitch. Like they just do it. They just did it.
She put her. I mean, I don't know her life or her story, but she put herself in position in LA. Was going to the right gym, talking to the right people, and now she's the person. You know what I mean? So, and that's how for us or anyone, it's just like that's how you take that next step is just putting yourself with the right people and making those connections, and that's what she did. That's what we're trying to do. And
how was dinner with the Nug Boys?
It was cool, man. I did. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with like NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have one of their NFTs, and
they
came to Austin for their Happy Dad tour.
Yeah.
And so they invited a couple of us out to dinner, and so that was cool as fuck. You know, me and Steve will do it. I'm actually wearing a Steve will do it shirt. So
I saw that.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah. Shout out to the best YouTuber.
They need to bring his channel back for real. He's a good dude.
Facts. YouTube.
His channel's gone?
Yeah,
they got rid of his channel.
Wow.
No strikes or nothing. Yeah. Because he was betting on stake and like posting stuff like that, and they, YouTube was like trying to crack down like the gambling aspect or something like that. It was some BS.
Twitch is, but what's the difference between like him doing that and I like poker and watching like World Series of Poker, Daniel Negreanu streaming his poker tournaments.
I don't know the whole justification or reason. I think just at the end of the day, these big platforms that I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
These big platforms, they have the opportunity to take down whatever they want and cancel whoever they want. And he's a guy that they're, in my opinion, making a statement with.
I agree.
Prove a point. It sucks. I think he should get his channel back. I think he will. I think everything will come together. But
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Bro, he was blown. He had like 30 million subs.
His trajectory and it was just
crazy. Was crazy, bro.
Because I didn't know YouTube was doing it too. Because I knew that's crazy. Because Twitch, they're as of October 18th in 6 days, you can't gamble. Like you can't stream you on stake anymore.
Really?
Stake or I can't remember the Roulette or any of that.
Wow. That's gonna affect them.
That came from, I guess, one of those streamers. He was taking money from his viewers and like scamming them and whatnot. Then that's why apparently that's why they shut. I don't know the full story, but I was like, man, I wonder if they're gonna go to YouTube. But now since they're taking off his stuff for gambling, I don't know if they're gonna go to YouTube or not.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
That's crazy.
I had no idea they were gonna do that, but I know a lot of people do that. And they're just trying to build their audience on all these different networks.
Could have been me. I started on Roulette, which is like stake, way before like the whole gambling thing even blew up. I'm a degenerate, dude.
We all are. It's just some keep going and some know when to quit.
I unfortunately did not find out when to quit. But I started it like right before COVID happened. And then it's like, if I would have just streamed it and knew back then.
That's cool.
Man, for real though, it's crazy. I mean, it is crazy. Like all these people that have done something, they were just like, oh, I'm gonna just do this, and then you know what I mean. They don't really know, but yeah, I guess going back to that dinner with them, like, because we kind of
so you got to like hang out with them, talk to them and whatnot. Did you just like kind of pitch them the idea there, or?
So, I haven't done it. I'll say, well, we never had like an official partnership or anything with them. It was just more so just the opportunity to meet them, talk to them. They were doing their own. They were there for the Happy Dad tour, so really just promoting it here in town. But yeah, I mean, I brought them a gift. I'm always gonna shoot my shot.
Hey, exactly. You never know, too.
Yeah. So, I went up to Steve will do it, and it was funny because at the time, if you guys know Steiny.
Steiny, his assistant.
Yeah, he was trying to get him to work out and stuff, and so I was like, hey, bro, I brought Steiny a gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need to get him some healthy donuts. And then he was looking at it. He didn't know what it was because he'd never seen it, but Steve was just interested in it. He went up to Steiny. He's like, he brought you a gift. He's like, some healthy donuts. You need to try them. And Steiny was like, man, get that shit out of my face. Like, I don't want healthy or whatever. Being him.
Yeah.
And Steve was like, all right, and just started looking at it, trying it, and then he ate it, and then he was just like that. He really liked the product. And they kind of do their own like fitness thing and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
they got the full sin supplements and
I think
all that stuff.
One day, I never say no. I think it'll all come full circle. And one day, I like to think we could partner with them or have some kind of relationship with them in the future. But you always put yourself one step closer and just kind of build a relationship, and it's just building on top.
Because you never know, like you already have they're cool with Bradley, and then like you already have it like in someone in Bradley's like circle. You know what I mean? Then they're like, oh, I had that before, and they're like, oh, I remember him. That's all it takes.
Especially
like,
if they liked it, they're
bridging
gonna
the gap.
remember you.
Yeah. At one point, I know we sent donuts to Zoo Culture.
Yeah.
It was like, these are all free. Just give them away.
Yeah.
Just so that way, it's like
It gets into people's hands.
Getting it to everyone, so everyone's just like grabbing a free product.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes that's what you got to do, man. It's another form of marketing, and it's, you know, it's more hands-on, it's grassroots, but it's like that's how you build your small little communities.
Especially original Zoo Culture, like because I know he's making other ones, but that's when Summer Rae like blew up as Zoo Culture. It's like you just never know who's gonna be in there like getting those donuts, and that kind of brings me into my next question. You got like Zoo Culture, and you got like Alpha Land in Houston, and then you have like some of the gyms here. The Collective is here, and then Lift ATX. So you have like all these type of gyms where there's a bunch of influencers and stuff like that. Do you plan on pitting your products in those type of gyms too, and just having them there too?
Yeah, we partner with some of the gyms and some of the influencers there, like Lift ATX for sure. I know they got a bunch of influencers. We partner with some of them there, and we, you know, like I said, we went and just dropped off like a bunch of cases of donuts. It was like just give them away for free, just to kind of build that brand awareness. But yeah, that's the plan with their new product launch. That's gonna be like full speed ahead with everything. I think the biggest challenge with us was being a frozen product with gyms is that they don't really have freezers. But now with the shelf stable product, it's gonna be so much easier to partner with them. But yeah, man, like I said, it's for us. It's just building communities within these little gyms, because nothing is too small, man. It all compounds. Everyone tells a friend. So like, you know, those gyms that you mentioned, even like MMA gyms, like we sent packages to every like all the big training facilities, you know.
House of Gains in Georgetown, like all those,
yeah. We just kind of send our packages, and just, you know, it's a seeding thing. You know, eventually, you know, things come back. Like some of the owners reached out to us and was like, "Hey, you guys sent product. Like, what is this?" We're like, "Hey, man, just have it. And if it's something people love, we'll send you wholesale information and just build business like that." So,
do y'all have like a separate budget for that specifically? Because I mean, at that point you are losing money.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't know if y'all had like a set budget.
Yeah. We have kind of like, we allocate a certain amount of product for samples and things like that.
Okay.
But sometimes too, it's just like the opportunity's good enough. It just doesn't matter.
That's true.
Find a way. And so,
for real.
But yeah, we allocate certain things to samples, like influencers. We have samples for certain retailers. Like a GNC needs product, you know, we'll get them some product. So, but yeah, we have to, man, at scale, like to your point, you know, in 2-3 years, our samples is going to be, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million of product, free product are going to be given away. And so it's like, you really got to budget that, because before you know it, you lost $1 million in free product, and you're like, where did this go in the P&L? You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money too.
Yeah. But I mean, you see it all the time when you go places and you see all these free products, like someone's sponsoring that event, and it's important to just make sure all of those things are factored, because money goes quick, man.
Yeah. When did y'all kind of like realize y'all had to switch away from like the frozen donuts?
We always knew that since day one, man. I think for us, it was always important for us to be a shelf-stable product, but it's a really unique product, and it's a challenge, man, with baked goods, because there's a balance of moisture and there's a balance of shelf life. Like, you know, if you go to a bakery, nothing there lasts more than a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
They're good, yes, but they're not a product that have mass distribution. They're just on a local level, you know, made locally or whatever. And so we always had big picture in mind first, and it was always distribution, retailers, working with everyone. And the only way that kind of stuff works is shelf stable. I mean, you can always have frozen products, but that's just a different supply chain. It limits distribution in certain places like gyms and nutrition shops. So we always knew since day one that we wanted to be there. And then once, you know, we've had a lot of outreach. I mean, every major retailer in the U.S. has reached out to us. And then, you know, the biggest feedback was like they wanted shelf stable, because we'll say we want to sell the protein bars, we want to sell the protein cookies, things like that, but we're a frozen product and the two don't align. Yeah. And so we always knew it was something we had to do. But the biggest thing is, man, it's really, it comes down to food science, and it took us 15 months to reformulate this. You know, it cost us over $250,000, you know, for product developers to do all this. And so it's one of those things that just took time to get the funding and be in the right place. We never had enough money to hire the right food scientists to do all this kind of stuff. So we raised $2 million last year, used some of it for R&D, to reformulate our product, and now it's all coming together. So, you know, we don't have that background or expertise to be like, oh, we can create a product that's going to last a year. Like, that shit's not easy. And so, yeah, it was something we always knew, but finally everything's aligning, man. Like, you know, in our head, we're 10 years ahead with the brand, but it's like you have to live
in the moment.
In the present today, and like what's going on, and solve today's problem, not a problem 5 years from now, because that shit's irrelevant. And so that's, you know, that we just took it one day at a time. And once we got the money, that was the first thing we did.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So kind of, you know, putting money into research and development and things like that. Kind of talk to us about your route for advertising. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit with the influencers stuff, but is there anything else that you guys do that's additional that differentiates yourself?
To date, we really built the brand online. I think that's one thing. I guess from a differentiation standpoint, you know, when you look at some of the products, direct to consumer has kind of been like a hot word. Amazon is, you know, the largest retailer, largest business in the U.S. And so that's kind of where we started first, was just kind of building brand through social media. So we did a lot of like Facebook and Instagram ads, Amazon, that was big for us, and utilizing the platform. But aside from like traditional like digital ad spend and things like that, we leveraged influencers. We always tried the next big thing, you know, whether it was like TikTok. We built our TikTok up there. We were kind of running ads. I see YouTube as like the modern day TV. That I personally consume all my content on YouTube. Too. And so like running ads and stuff, and you know, we tried all that, but really what ultimately it came down to for us was, in order to really exponentially grow and hit that inflection point as a business, we needed to get into retail, because you can grow a couple $1 million business online and stuff like that, but it's just like when COVID hit, what happened was everyone became online business. You know what I mean? All the companies who were traditionally brick and mortar and retail, they had to pivot because people weren't going to stores, so it became more competitive from a marketing standpoint. Everything just became pricier because privacy, people are opting out of ads and things like that. Everything just got difficult, and so we knew we had to pivot to resale, and so that's where our focus had been. And so now most of our marketing efforts are going to be focused on in-store, you know, promotion, demos, like having demos so people can try the product when you get in there, coupons, things like that. And so that's really where we're transitioning kind of our focus as a business and our marketing spend in retail. Like, we'll still do all that stuff, influencers, but for us, it's really focused on growing the business in retail, because like I mentioned with like the exponential growth, you know, it's cool to do a couple million here, but you know, you're in every Walmart, every GNC, every 7-Eleven, every Circle K, every Gold Chip, like every retailer in the world. That's where the volume is. Like, that's where you can really build a big business. And so that was important for us to focus there.
Yeah, it's important to get in those first of all, and stay in those, because like I said earlier, just you haven't, say you just got off work late and you're like, oh man, I haven't even eaten anything, or I forgot my protein shake or whatever.
Or I'm hungry before the gym, but I can't eat like a lot because I'm about to go work out.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think getting y'all on like side gyms would be.
It's a convenience purchase. I mean, like, you don't go online and say, I'm gonna order 12 protein bars for the next week. Like, no one does that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm at the gym, I'm at the store, I grab my protein bar or my supplement, and it's boom, you go. It's a grab and go. It's a convenience thing, and that's what we've always, you know, that was always at our core, is ready to eat, convenience. You know, those were our value propositions for the consumers.
Yeah. How'd y'all go about picking flavors? Because like the first two was birthday cake and cinnamon sugar. Like, is this were those like y'all's favorite? Yeah, it was flavors?
Kind of, we really analyzed kind of the category of donuts and protein bars, and it was kind of like a combination of both, of like the best selling donut flavors and the best selling bar flavors. Because the big thing is, you know, you want to appeal to the masses is the most important thing. And, you know, when you look at ice cream, or anything, we'll just use ice cream for this example, there's 50 different flavors that, let's call it Bluebell or whoever, Ben and Jerry's have, but there's going to be 3 that make them 90% of the money. And so that's the most important that you need to focus on, is those 3, your core flavors. And that, you know, that's what we want to do, is start with flavors people are familiar with, flavors that are people buying. Because like, we could launch I don't know, a fucking pistachio donut or something like that. And there's going to be that 2% of people that fucking love it. But, you know, there's going to be the 98% that just would rather have the chocolate.
Yeah.
And so it's just a combination of all those things.
You have done a lot of research.
I mean, it's important.
Yeah, you can tell.
You can tell you have done a lot of research.
A lot of it, it's not even just research, because I'm not like a research-oriented guy. A lot of it's just trial and error, man. You just fucking learn. But, yeah, some of it, too, yeah, it's important to know. Because the thing is, everything has to be a data-driven decision, because, you know, one mistake can put you out of business. And so it's like really, really focusing on what people want. It's a lot of different elements between psychology, you know, and just business and just generally preferences for people. So yeah.
Do y'all have like employees?
So we have a lean team. So internally, it's myself and my twin brother. So we're the co-founders. We're the only like Elite Suites employees. But we work with contractors and agencies. So that's kind of been our models. Like, we work with contractors for different aspects of the business, or agencies for different aspects of the business. It's cheaper, it's more efficient, because to hire one full-time marketing person versus like an agency that has 8 people that does different things, I mean, it's much more efficient, cost effective that way. But overall, if you include like the manufacturing staff, fulfillment, we probably have 30, 40 people that work with us.
Or any of those like data analysts or anything? No.
So all that stuff's like probably outsourced with like consulting, essentially.
We don't do any consulting, man.
Well,
when you're a startup, you just do everything yourself. Like, honestly, everything is just me and Amir make all the decisions. We determine everything. But we also have great advisors too, man. So it's I think that's one thing that, you know, I'd love to touch on is putting the right people around you and the right team. You know, our advisor, like, I'm biased, but we have the best advisory board in the world. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Super Coffee, but we brought on the 3 founders of Super Coffee as advisors and board members. And Super Coffee is the 3rd largest bottled coffee company in the U.S. behind Starbucks and Dunkin'.
Wow.
And these guys did that under 30. Their company's worth $700 million. Wow. You know what I mean? They're fucking, the youngest guy's 26.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you had it? Well, I'm sure you've had it. Yeah, it's good.
And there's obviously a lot of synergy with like a better for you coffee and better for you donuts.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had to collab, and you know, by the grace of God, man, everyone just moved to Austin, so now they live here in Austin, which is great. Yeah, and another one of our advisors, he's the co-founder and CMO of a company called Barnana, and he's more on the brand side of things, like all that beautiful branding, packaging, all that. Like, you know,
that stuff's nice. The colors like real pop.
Yeah, man, we spend a lot of time mood boards and really just working hand in hand with everything. And then another one of our advisors is Patrick Schwarzenegger, so Arnold's son. He's one of our investors and advisors, and it's really important to put the right people around you and put a lot of talented people. One of our sales brokers is the founder of Halo Top. So the guy who created Halo Top is the one who's going to be selling us into the retail stores.
That's dope.
So, you know, for us, it is important to put a great team around us. Me and Amir, you know, we're not experts or geniuses by any means. We aren't like blessed with some big brain or anything. We understand like what it takes to take things to the next level, and we understand that it's not just on us, you know what I mean? It's about putting the right people together and building a great team that can execute, and that was always kind of our dream when we started, and now we're just making it a reality.
Yeah. It seems pointless or something small, but packaging is really, really, really important.
Oh, it's not pointless, man. That's the most important.
Yeah, it's really, really, really,
people
really important.
People don't buy a product; they buy what they see on the shelf.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, they haven't even, for a new product, they've never tasted it. They're just like, oh, this looks cool, this looks good, buy it.
Yeah.
It's the product that makes them buy it a second time, but it's the packaging that makes them buy it the first time.
How much like rough drafts did y'all go through? How many like sketches did y'all go through to like before you even got to this?
I honestly don't remember. I just know we were doing like a bunch of mood boards, a lot of concepts, kind of different brands, different colors, different concepts that we liked, and it was just kind of finding a balance between all of that. I feel like it went pretty quickly, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. We're so aligned, and our advisor, I mean, dude, he has his own food company, and he just really gets it. So he's just one of those guys that like everything just clicked, man.
That's dope. It's not luck. It's not a coincidence. I mean, y'all put in the hard work to like get to where y'all's at. So it's like y'all got the right people for a reason. Like they were put in y'all's life for a reason. That's kind of what he says with the whole, for us, like everybody that we're getting on, everybody that we know. It's like everything's happening for a reason, and none of it's like luck or just it all comes from hard work. Really, you work hard and put yourself
in the right situations.
Yeah.
How he was talking about packaging and the packaging really standing out. What kind of made you guys set your price? Because you know, you could charge $6, $2. So like, I guess what goes into pricing?
There's a lot of components that comes with pricing. I think the most important, well, I guess there's a couple different important parts, but obviously you have to have a certain margin. So one thing that's important in the business is just making sure you have a sufficient margin to pay all your costs. So whether it's operations, you know, legal team, all that has to come from somewhere. So I'm just going to throw out numbers, but you make a donut for $1 and you sell it for $2, you know, that 50% margin, that dollar that you have right there, that's what you have to pay your employees. So it's how many donuts do I have to sell to cover all my costs and ultimately become a profitable business. So obviously there's a balance, and usually the rule of thumb within food, you want to stay between like 50 and 70%, because at scale, that'll provide you enough to kind of pay for all your costs. But it's also just kind of a balancing act of what's on the market, what are people charging for comparable products. Like, could we charge $10? Probably not, because someone buys a protein bar for $2, you know what I mean? So, you know, we are more expensive than like a traditional product that's on the market right now, because we're unique and, you know, we're a smaller brand. We don't have the scale to bring down our costs like a Quest bar, you know what I mean? They sell billions of that stuff, so they make it much cheaper. So it's kind of just making sure you're aligned kind of with the category, but also that you, from a business standpoint, that you have enough margin to really cover all your expenses.
So it's just you and your brother. I mean, obviously you have like your team that you work with and whatnot. Yeah. For the most part, it's me and him. How y'all are y'all bring in millions of dollars. So how do y'all not get so overwhelmed and like what y'all are doing for it just being y'all two and bringing all this high end revenue in?
I think, well, I mean, it is us two, like at the top, like internally as employees, but at the end of the day, we have a great team. So it's not like it's just us. We don't, like when we first started, we did everything, you know, from operations to logistics to manufacturing to finance to legal, like any fucking thing. We did every single thing, and we, you know, we had to oversee it all. But now we have, you know, we can divide and conquer. And I think, like, to the point of having a great team, that's the most important thing, man. We wouldn't be able to get to the point where we're able to generate millions without having the right people in place and having that assistance, because it is, you know, at a certain point it does become too overwhelming or just take up too much time, and you have to be able to delegate. And that's one thing, like as a founder and, you know, starting something yourself, it's really hard to kind of let go, because you're so used to doing everything yourself, and you know, you obviously have a bias in thinking that you can do everything better than everyone, and it's got to be done your way. Yeah. But, you know, when you find the right people who come in and make it seamless, and, you know, how you have a good transition, that's the most priceless thing, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to help execute this vision that you have. But in terms of it being overwhelming, man, this is what we asked for. You know what I mean? Like, we wanted to get to this point. These are the problems you want to have. We didn't want to have these like smaller problems. We want to get to a bigger stage where our problems were, you know, bigger than us. That, you know, that's the problems we want to solve. And so at the end of the day, you know, it's just having that vision of like, we're still not even where we want to be. So it's like, it's just part of it.
Yeah. Well, at what point did y'all get to that point? Like where were y'all on y'all's business?
The biggest thing is when we raise capital. You know, when you raise capital, you have the resources to start getting help. You know, when you don't have the money to pay talent, you can't get talent. That's the reality of it. But also, when you have investors, your expectations, I guess the expectations change or get accelerated. You know, we always knew, we want to sell the business. But at the end of the day, when you got people whose money's on the line and they're trying to get a return ultimately, like everything gets expedited. You know, there's a sense of urgency to get to build the business up and get it to the point where, you know, you can sell it off and, you know, return the investors' money and obviously get our payout. And so, yeah.
That's dope.
Cool. I mean, that was it for me. I mean, we feel like we
asked everything.
Lot, like actually everything.
Well, I guess I have two questions. What advice do you have for people who are trying to do the same thing? One, and I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, like when you say same thing, like just generally like entrepreneur, or like in the food space in particular.
Food space in particular.
Don't do it. No, just playing. I'd say the biggest thing is always lead with innovation, man. Like, you know, I think the reason why we are where we are today is because we created a category, we created our own product. You know, it wasn't easy by any means. Like, it was so fucking hard and like a lot of challenges because people don't understand it. Until it becomes a norm and it's something that's accepted, no one understands, like, oh, healthy donut, I don't want that shit. Well, people didn't want Diet Coke, now look at it, right? And so I think it's one of those things where it's like, you always, you know, lead with innovation is the most important thing, but also, you know, it's easy for me to say now, but you don't want to start bootstrap. You got to start capital, man, because it accelerates things. Starting with bootstrap is just a long, slow grind and ultimately slow death. Like, you need enough startup capital. You need to be have sufficient capital to really get going. And then the biggest thing I would say is, from our lessons, is start with distribution. Like, starting in stores is the quickest way to grow your business as opposed to trying to build it slowly. Because I don't know if you guys have a online store, like sell merch or anything, or probably will at some point. It's hard to get people to buy, you know, shit online because like everyone's trained to buy either in store or buy on Amazon. So when you try to drive them to your own site versus all these other sites and all these other options people have, it's tough, man. It's not an easy game. And so start with distribution and just really place the product where people are selling. Like, we're on Amazon because that's where people want to shop, and so you can't change people's behaviors. You just got to adapt with it. So,
and then my second one was, besides the shelf donuts again in stores, what's next for y'all? What's y'all's next big thing, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, for sure. For us, we're really focused on building the brand around the donut because it is so unique to us, and we're the first to bring it to market. So we want to do more flavors. That's kind of our next, you know, obviously thing. And the next obvious product extension for us is going to be donut holes. So like bite-sized donuts that people can share with their friends. And then beyond that, man, at our core, we're high protein, low sugar, and keto. And we want to continue to innovate in the healthy snacking space. It's a $40 billion category. And it's just continuing to grow year over year. And it's like there's a lot of opportunity. We don't want to I could sit there and say we want to do this, that, the other. But to be honest, it's all a timing thing. It's all what the market wants, you know what I mean? Like, I could say we're going to launch a cookie next, but if the hot thing then is, you know, whatever product, then that's where probably we're better off putting our time and attention. Like, you see seltzers is a great example. Like, everyone's trying to capitalize on the seltzer trend because launching a light beer isn't as sexy as a seltzer today. And so I think timing is the most important thing with a lot of these things, and so there's a lot of ideas in the product innovation pipeline, and it's endless, you know, the opportunity. But yeah, donuts is really where we're focusing our attention and building the brand today.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Well, that's pretty much all for me. Do you have anything for us before we close this out?
I mean, I just appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Having me on here. It was fun, and hope we'll have to do it like a yearly thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
See the progress we make.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's our goal, is always at least to have everybody on one more time at least.
Yeah. It's like a recap.
Just to see. An update for
on some of my bullshit.
Maybe we do like a little sporting segment too. I mean, a betting segment too. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. Me and my brother were talking about doing like a little YouTube channel where we kind of broke down all the fights and gave our predictions and stuff. We just haven't got down to
Is that his favorite sport too?
Yeah, man. It's so fun.
Every card, huh?
Yeah. Dude, I'm a faithful. I don't miss any fights, even if they're the shitty ones. Like, I watch prelims all the way from top to the bottom, man. All my Saturdays spend 7-8 hours watching the fights. I don't miss anything. If I'm somewhere, I have it on my phone, man. I don't play games at the fights, man.
Yeah, because the Leon Edwards fight, he wanted to buy it, and I was like, it's kind of a trash fight. Just because the card, how it played out, like,
the card was nice.
Aldo's old. We knew he was going to retire soon. Luke Rockhold's old, and he fought. Who did he fight? Can't remember. Yeah, and I was like, one's old, one's a druggie. Like, and then I was like, Leon, he already got beat once, and then I was like, it's not gonna be that good. Then it turned out to be like a crazy. That Luke Rockhold fight was insane.
That's what I'm saying, man. Fighting's so unpredictable, you know, to the last minute, man. There's been finishes literally in the last second of the last round, and you just never know what's gonna happen. That, and as a fighter, man, that's the craziest thing is just preparing for the unknown. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen when they lock that cage.
Yep. Yeah. Because that's biased because I went to the fight, but my favorite fight is the Rory McDonald, Robbie Lawler Part 2.
Oh hell yeah! Where was that at?
That was in Vegas.
Okay.
So that was the first fight. Conor and Aldo were supposed to fight, but then Aldo had the broken rib or whatever, so he fought Chad Mendes. But so the co-main event was Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald, and that was the bloodiest fight I've ever seen. Yeah, broken nose, split lip, and it was crazy. Because the first round, everybody was booing because they didn't really do anything. But after that, it was fireworks.
My first fight was the Oliveira and Poirier. So I got to watch Oliveira's reign, man.
Where was that at?
Vegas.
Vegas.
That was last December. Yeah.
Okay. I was at T-Mobile.
Yeah. That was the fight after he beat Chandler.
Okay. Yeah. But thank you for coming on. I know you thanked us, but it actually does mean a lot for you to take time out your day. I know you're busy, and y'all are busy, and for you to take the time to come on here, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
And then thank you too for sending us all the donuts up front like that. That's dope. That too. Yeah, for real.
Hopefully, our morning show's getting decent views, so hopefully viewers go and check y'all out, and they can get some donuts. But find you everywhere at Elite Sweets.
So I don't know when this is gonna air, but we're gonna relaunch in November.
Probably when are you gonna relaunch?
We don't have a date yet. Probably since mid-November. But you can buy the product at EliteDonut.com, Amazon, and you'll find us in a bunch of retailers in 2023. So just stay up to date on our website, and we'll update everyone.
Perfect. Because this will air in November. Okay. I think it's gonna be like the first or second week.
It'll be the first week in November.
It'll be the first week in November is when this will air.
Okay.
So what day?
November 4th.
Friday, November 4th.
Yeah, Friday, November 4th. I think that's National Donut Day, so that's actually.
Look at that timing, divine timing. You know what I'm saying?
It really is, though. I believe either that or it's the 5th, but I think it's on a Friday. So.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We should launch it on National Donut Day.
Nah, for real.
No,
that's crazy.
But if it is by then, maybe you can shoot us the names. I'll put them in the description. But we'll have everything in the description below. We'll have the website. Y'all go check them out. Go buy some donuts, man. They're actually fire. Like I said, my favorite's the cinnamon sugar from these. Obviously, they're discontinuing these. The new ones we got to have. Cinnamon was fire. It tasted like a brown cinnamon sugar pop.
The chocolate was really good.
You had the chocolate. Cat had the maple.
New flavor.
New flavor. So a lot of fire coming y'all's way. But go check them out. Go give them a try. Hopefully you see them in your local gym. But that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.